Hi, my name is James Creighton Mitchell Jr. I live in Lindenhurst. I've been virtually a lifelong resident of Lake County. I graduated from CLC back in the 90s, and so I had also been on the Student Senate for 4 years. When I decided to run this year for the board, I thought it would be good to come back as a student. So I'm also a student at CLC, so it gives me perspective to see what's going on campus. Some things have changed. Some things have not, and I think there's room for improvement. But don't misunderstand me. CLC is a great institution. It's got a great reputation across the United States. My job would be to add to that and provide additional improvements for the students, which is kind of what my focus is.
Thank you.
Well, as I understand the question, it's the collegiality between administration and the faculty. Well, that's important. But from the board perspective, and I understand because I've done local government stuff for almost 40 years, served on the county board, built a drainage district, charged a mosquito abatement district, also the Forest Reserve District, library board, etc. So I understand the budgets and all this. But the critical component is, it's like the old saying, I put a lock on the door to keep the honest man honest. And so we need to keep the professional staff honest. I'm not beating up on them per se. So one of the things that I would be anxious to have or encouraged to have is the ability to have the faculty grade the professional staff. We get certain grade reports when we evaluate, at least the superintendent, he gets things where she gets reports on particular staff that they have. But I think it's important to have another look at administrative staff because they're the ones that after we set our policy, we expect things to happen. I understand chain of command. And I understand that we have a marketing group that deals with the public. And so you can't necessarily have board people just wandering off this way or that way. But I do think a couple times a year that it's important to have the board, the staff, and the professors sit down and not necessarily pick apart an issue, but make a list. What are the issues that are before us that we've got to solve without adding any value to whatever they are? And so now we have a game plan that we all can work forward to. So if we know that there's certain things, and then we rely on the administrative staff and the faculty then to create a priority and identify the things that we need to address. And that report comes back to the board and the board passes action on that. And so without having board members run around the chain of command, I think by having, one or two retreats, one in the fall, one in the spring, and they can be on campus. You don't have to spend taxpayer money to go someplace out of town. But to be able to sit down and have like a workshop meeting and make it on a Saturday or Friday afternoon or something. And kind of get your game plan as to what you need to take a look at. So that's the way I would approach it, is that I would expect the faculty to provide some input on the professional staff, because I have no way of grading these people, because I can't necessarily run past the president of college or vice president of one of certain departments. But I do think it's important for the staff to have department reports, and I'm not sure if that goes on now, periodically, so that you can see what each one of the departments are doing. They come in and make the pitch and say, these are the things that we're trying to accomplish, these are the barriers we're running into, this is why we need your assistance as a board, either to budget it or to make some policy changes. And that would hold true for the students, not necessarily just because the student representative is on the CLC board. But, you know, I've seen some things, having been back there now as a student, that we really ought to be addressing at the board level with regards to student activities. This is a very good topic. Matthew, thanks for the lead-in. CLC, creating lasting careers. Okay. I challenge the professional staff, marketing people to come up with a different use of CLC or change those letters. CLC is not your last chance, it's your first chance for success in Lake County. That moniker is because maybe the high school that you came from didn't measure up to what it was supposed to measure up to for you to graduate and feel comfortable to go someplace else. I understand the concept of trying to target certain audiences that may be disadvantaged, this, that, and the other thing. So, one way College of Lake County can save a bunch of money is stop killing trees to print the catalog. Okay? That gets mailed to every house. And there's a ton of them that get thrown away at campus. I would suggest a team visit every high school in Lake County, and the students who are in their junior year, you could either do it in the fall or spring semester. And you work with the regional superintendent of schools, because whoever it is has got to be a partner in improving education in Lake County, not necessarily which group of people want to go from this school to that school. And you go in and you make a pitch, and it might be an all-day seminar to the students there where they get to see and understand what the College of Lake County is. And if there are people that want to make appointments and talk to people about some of their specific needs, then that's the place to do that. The other thing is, I think any student who's going to be coming to CLC or might be coming to CLC ought to have a better understanding of what the entrance exam is for math and English. And so if you take a test exam and find out, whoa, I got some problems, you now have some at least time for the remainder of your junior year, between your junior year and your senior year, to correct those deficiencies. I think it's wrong as a business model. I understand it as an educational model, that you need to offer remedial education. But the fact is, it's a barrier until you can get your degree. It's important for your degree that you show the proficiency that you need to show in those particular areas. But to be blindsided by a test because you now want to come to CLC, when you had no foreknowledge, and then you find out, I wasn't as well prepared either because I got issues at home, or I don't learn that way that they taught me, or whatever the 26 reasons are, then you ought to have a better clue when you get ready to leave. Because there are so many opportunities at the College of Lake County. And I think by making the direct appeal at the high schools, at an important time in those students' career, I now am going to every high school in Lake County. And so every student who is a student somewhere in Lake County has the opportunity of coming to CLC because CLC has made a personal appeal to them. And I think we need to do that. The other thing is, there are a bunch of libraries all across this county. They all have all sorts of programs for adults and some other things. And so here's another place, the College of Lake County, and we can figure out how we're going to do that. It's a combination between staff, professional people, and students who want to go out, and make presentations at our local libraries, maybe a couple semesters. So that people who don't get the catalog mailed, we don't need to mail it, can get information about the College of Lake County. And the libraries have people that will assist seniors that don't have the skill set to use the computers to get the information online. So those are a couple areas that I think that we can do right away. And if I was on the board, I'd start it next fall. policies to embrace diversity. I would support that 100%. I would put the challenge, since we're talking about students first every day, I would put the burden on the Student Senate to go through the policies and, based upon student feedback, to make a list. Whether it's financial issues, whether it's accessibility issues because you're in a wheelchair and you can't make the elevators work because you can't get close, or you get dropped off outside the building and there's no pedestal there for you to hit so the automatic doors will open. Late communications from the CLC communication network. You get something at 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe she got it the night before. Little things like that. And so the challenge is, who's going to identify it? You know, does the board identify them? Does the board discuss these with staff? And so bring them forward, and everyone that we can implement, when I'm on the board, will implement. And so I'm not saying I wouldn't do my share of the work as a board member, but we need to start the ball rolling, pick up the information, create a framework of the things that we're looking at, begin to prioritize them, either in terms of things that can be done very quickly with no money, things that are going to require some structural changes in the building. Simple policy things, for example, I ran into a student, because the way CLC processes grant money for veterans, they're compared to the Pell Grant people. Well, part of the complaint that CLC says, well, some of the Pell Grant people are cheating the system. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that the veterans are going to cheat the system, because if the veterans cheat the government, they're going to lose the benefits. So to hold their benefits up for 6 or 7 weeks is not fair. It's not right. So there's a lot of things out there in terms of dealing with this issue of diversity, no matter who you are. So we need to have somebody say, here's a policy that's not working. Here are a couple things we'll look at. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's something that's not even discussed anywhere that should be. So yeah, I'm in favor of doing all that. We just need to have somebody start the ball. I would respectfully suggest that the Student Senate take this on as a challenge, because you do have a member representing the students at the CLC board, and say, hey, we're looking at this. So I'm not interested in hiring somebody that's looking for the golden parachute. I mean, that's the last item. I think looking at what the college wants to do for the next 5 or 10 years is how I would approach my search. And so nationwide search includes local. And so I would structure my contract such at the end of the first year, we can part company. There would be certain things that would, enumerations with regards to that. But I would want to be looking at somebody who's going to be here for 5 to 10 or maybe 15 years. Now I understand people can get stale and retire in place, and I'm not interested in that for CLC. I'm not interested in that for Lake County. I'd like to find somebody in the mid-range of age that's going to be here for 10 or 15 years, and maybe he's only going to be 55. And maybe they want to go someplace else where the grandkids are retired. But I'm interested in somebody that's going to build what we have here and add to it. But we ought to be able to find out along the way if it's not going to work for both of us, that we part them. As I stated earlier, the other screen, I think we need to shrink other units of local government that just siphon a lot of money out of the taxpayer's pocket for not much rate of return. For example, a couple years ago when I looked at North Shore Sanitary District, 5 members are making $1,000 a meeting. $1,000 a meeting. North Shore Sanitary District and a couple of other sewage treatment districts in Lake County will be absorbed by Lake County Public Works by an ordinance between the two. So whose ox are we going to gore here to get ahead? Township governments take a lot of money from us, and yet you can argue that there is some benefit, but in the end of the result, there's other places that those services can be provided, and that's a lot of money that can come back to education or be available in different ways. Fire protection districts. We could standardize some things on that in terms of pay grades, training, location of facilities, standardization of what the facilities look like, some of the expensive equipment, where we would position it for what we need. We need to have a local government summit and say, okay, what are we trying to accomplish? And yet, some of us are going to have to fall on our sword so that the greater good is going to be serviced for Lake County. And if part of that is education, meaning CLC, then I think that's important. I don't think being a professional educator is a dirty word. My first wife, before she passed away, was a professional educator at the grade school level. And for too long, professional educators in the classroom are being beat up unfairly. So certainly I want to stand up for people like that. And I think that the salaries and pension is not a dirty word. Government officials who line their own pocket, take theft and some other stuff for their own purse, that's the dirty word that we also need to address on this stuff. I think, finally, that we should get off of the dole from Springfield and Washington, D.C., because the people that live near you are the people that you can address every day. Meet them at church, at the train station, grocery store, out at the Little League field, basketball game, or something else. To try and meet the people from Springfield or Washington and say, hey, you got to do more for us. Let's get them off our back. We don't need them because they haven't been helping us. They haven't been making their commitments. It's the local people that meet and make the commitments. Well, I understand plagiarism is kind of frowned upon. However, I do like the idea of every student, every day, or every day, every student. And that kind of says it all. But CLC has got student email. I'm not convinced that that's effectively used for a lot of different things, and it could be in terms of communication. It's already there. I've noticed that the clubs I've been able to participate in, they do some email, but they're using different Facebook. I think the College of Lake County IT department can support student activities and have a web page for each one of the clubs. It's uniform, go through the training that you need for people to be the bloggers. And so anybody who would want to come online to the CLC website would be able to see that there's X number of clubs, that these are the things that these clubs are doing. Obviously, you want to make sure that they're used appropriately. That goes without saying, because we want the best image to go forward. I think there ought to be an opportunity, as it's been pointed out, where somebody says, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow. Who wants to go out and make snow angels out on the north parking lot? We're going to meet out there at noon, and hot chocolate will be provided. So we don't have any mechanism for somebody to reach out and say, hey, I'm interested to see if there's somebody with a like mind to me. I think that if one person, whether it's a handicapped person or somebody else who's the most athletic, said, hey, I'd like to try this idea. And if it's only a person of one that gets some respect and some assistance to try and make that happen, and that individual making a commitment for a period of time, we need to support that. And so I think that talks about all of the issues of diversity we've all talked about. It talks about inclusiveness. It talks about reapplying resources that are at the college that are underutilized on behalf of the students who are there for the institution. And they suck the money out for tuition and some other stuff. But some of the other support services, beyond Blackboard, so that you know where you are in your grades, I think there's some other communication tools that are there that should be, and I would support using those as a board member.